Hi everyone, it's Miriam McKell and welcome to Empower Her Network podcast. Today's actually International Women's Day and I'm excited to be starting this new endeavor. And today I've actually decided to bring on one of the most influential women in my life, my broker, Terri Dillon.
Hi.
I'm so happy that you're here today because I feel like you have been, one, you're just not a broker. Like you have done so much, you've built so many companies. We talk about it all the time. I mean, she's literally a pilot too. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But yeah, we're bringing her on today to talk a little bit more about everything that she's gone through from whenever, basically since high school. We'll start there and kind of talk about everything, her challenges, how she got to where she's at today, what essentially is next for her as well. Today is International Women's Day, like I mentioned, and I feel like you are the perfect guest to be the first guest on my podcast. But first, let's start off by popping a champagne bottle.
Be my guest.
Guys, I don't pop champagne bottles because I typically watch my clients when they purchase homes pop champagne bottles. So I might hit one of us in the eye today. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Okay, I hope it's not.
And that's good champagne, right?
It's what we had.
Okay.
I'm hoping it's
good.
Is
it cold?
It's chilled, I would
All
say.
right.
This is going to be so embarrassing. People are probably going to look at me like, this girl's never opened a champagne bottle before in her life.
Well, she just turned 21. What can you say? Okay.
Got it.
Pop it.
Ah! Wait.
Ah! That wasn't... That's okay.
I wasn't expecting that.
I have a good relationship here with the carpet cleaner, man.
There you go. Alrighty.
Okay, at an angle.
At an angle. It's probably going to slip out of my hand.
Okay, you're fine.
How much you want?
That's
You're
fine.
going to ride horses drunk today?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I got to groom him today. I just got back from Houston, Texas, so...
How was that?
Oh, it was great. Oh my gosh, the weather was wonderful.
The videos you sent me of
They're beautiful.
reading to the kiddos too, that was so cute.
You know, there's no state tax in Texas. There's no income taxes. The housing is great.
So are we in California still?
I know. Weather. We love
You
our
move,
weather.
I'll move.
You know. Well, we could buy, everything's like a third of what
Really?
our pricing, house pricing in. Well, here we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. Happy,
Health, wealth, and
happy,
happiness.
happy International Women's Day.
Cheers.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
So what?
You're not going to drink?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a sip.
My lipstick. Okay.
That's good champagne.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, I want to start off
Start in the beginning.
from the very beginning because I know a lot of our viewers are going to be high school, college students who are about to graduate. It's probably one of the hardest decisions, I would say, is to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. So take us back to when you're graduating high school or college.
Well, first of all, I want to say when you just mentioned
Yeah.
high school, college people, this week is also the book fair day across the nation. So I sat in kindergarten in Houston, kindergarten today this morning in California, and in third graders reading books. I don't know if it's harder to control little children or my real estate agents that are high school as far as listening and paying attention. They're so forgiving and they listen and they're coachable and trainable. And that's one of the traits that we really need to work on when we get to a certain age, the teenager plus size, that when you have experts out there that know what they're doing, please render to the advice that they're giving you because they've been there, done it, and learn through their mistakes. Why that'll say reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
But starting, so your question was?
Back in college, let's say, before you're graduating, or we'll take it back to high school when you're entering college. Where did you go?
Well, high school was Castle Park. Let's start with, I was born here in San Diego.
Okay.
So that was some time ago. My origins are in Idaho and Texas, where all my relatives are. So born in San Diego, married had my first, I have 3 children. I now have 8 grandchildren. Went to a place called Castle Park High School. Yeah, go Trojans.
Love it.
And even though a lot of them still live around here, we're close in certain ways, but we're not tripping all over each other because Chula Vista is very big now. I don't know.
It's growing like crazy too.
It's more than, what is it, the 3rd or 5th largest in California. It's huge. And we got the new bayfront going on down here by the bay.
Yeah.
But the issue is you got to find your niche and your groove and what you like to do. And when you like what you do, it's not work, it's a passion. But the biggest problem is you got to find good mentors and listen to. A lot of people take jobs, just for the money.
Yeah.
But it's not something what they like. Like our cameraman over here, I'm sure he loves the camera and he likes to play with the art part.
Yeah.
And you're doing a wonderful job coming in and taking over the real estate by storm, only being in the business a couple of years. And you're doing more, you're doing better than some agents that have been in for 10 years. And I could say that because I've been in the business for over 30 years.
Yeah.
My children are involved in real estate. My oldest daughter, she does all the finance for the company, and she's actually in Houston. So all that can be done remotely.
Yeah.
My son, he runs the mortgage company, but my oldest has two children. My son has 2 children, and my youngest one, who runs the offices in escrow, she has 3 children, and they're all under 40 years old. And so it's quite a family, but we're big enough to make some noise out there, but not too big where I don't know the people who work for me their names. I like having an organization that you can actually be involved with people, understand their transactions, and every transaction I've ever been involved in the last 30 years has been different. You have different personalities, different interest rates, different market trends. And what's very important to remember is your goal, your fiduciary duty is always going to be your client above your own. Your reputation is very important. So you start messing around with your reputation, you start doing things you shouldn't be doing, it's going to be tagged forever. Yeah. And I don't see those people staying in the business very long. They're here today, gone tomorrow. And I see no reason for that, because you can make a lot of money and a lot of business and have a lot of fun if you just do things properly. Everybody needs real estate, whether it's renting, buying, commercial. There's such a vast, it's never going to stop. And there's people building houses in every level someone's going into. The newlyweds buying the bigger house. The circle of life, they're old and then they're buying down. Yeah. So there's always going to be some type of a need for real estate. And our job, forever changing in 30 years, is new contracts, there's new laws, especially in California, disclosures. And when you're done with the file, your file's about this thick. But fortunately, we don't print out all the papers anymore because it's all done paperless. But if we did print it out, it'd be very thick. You have so many inspections.
So I have a question, Terri.
Sure.
You mentioned something very important, which is having a mentor. Mm-hmm. I was in real estate. I mean, it's going to be my 4th year coming up. I was with a different company before, and
I'm gonna have some champagne.
Yeah. All you
sorry.
We got a full bottle.
Go ahead.
But what I was saying is basically, when I joined your company, Realty Executives Dillon, I mean, it was some night and day difference. The fact that I could call you and you could be, on your horses anywhere in the world, you're picking up your phone call and you provide that service to your agents, is honestly something that I thank you a lot for. And you're also my mentor. Like, I tell you that all the time. I call you with any problem I have, life, business, whatever it is. And I want to ask you, for the viewers that are watching, that are looking or seeking a mentor in the industry, in the real estate industry, what are some things that they should look for to either do an internship with an agent, intern with a company, what they should do on themselves in terms of personal growth, to be able to find the right mentor for them and also allow them to grow in the industry if they're seeking to be a real estate agent, real estate broker? What is it that you recommend?
Well, besides just real estate, I think it's very important to always have a mentorship. And mentorship I'm using loosely. You can't just go off and be a brain surgeon without going through your internship first, right?
Yeah.
You can't just go off and be a top plumber if you didn't do your journeyman and learn. Every job, we're no different. The problem we have in the real estate is we get a lot of very, very ambitious people that think they can cut corners, and they don't know right now how much they don't know.
That's very
true. And that is the problem. So the importance of finding a good mentor is important. And when you said about, yes, I do ride horses, yes, I'm on the other side of the world, I might be traveling, because I do know when I got in the business, I didn't have a mentor and I didn't have a participating broker. And to have your client have a sleepless night, or you have a sleepless night, or not knowing how to do something, to pick up that phone to be able to say yes, no, and render some direction, to put them at peace, it will really make you, it's a service that you need to give to your client, and it's going to help build your book of business, so you're going to get your repeat and referral business back to your for your clients.
Yeah.
It's the best service you can give. I don't want you to have a sleepless night, your clients have a sleepless night just because I was too busy. Well, we have a lot of brokers out there. I mean, I don't know the exact numbers in the Department of Real Estate website. You guys can look them up, but we have a lot of brokers that are out there in the cloud. And
literally.
And they literally in the cloud. You don't know who they are. They've never met them.
Yeah.
And they don't return calls. And these clients think they're getting a really good deal. And I'm thinking, how do they know they're getting a good deal? Because they haven't exposed their whole market. They don't know what that really good agent can work for them on repairs, purchase price, financing terms. But what's that old saying? You get what you pay for.
That's very true.
If you don't pay your broker nothing, you get nothing.
Yeah.
And usually if you track all those, I think I was talking to their top agent yesterday, and I won't name the name of the other brokerage. They have something like 2,000 agents, and I think only it came down to that they had the top 70 did so many deals. I go, that's like one deal per person. I go, how can that be bragging efforts? That's a minimum expectation of yourself is to be doing at least one. So again, we all have bills to pay, and we all have a career to make. But I do believe you have to select a good mentorship, because it's not just about understanding the contracts. It's understanding how to read people, handling objections. It's all about your time management, profitability. It's about where do you get business? How do you fix the business? How do you work with buyers? How do you work with sellers? There is so much to it. And as life goes on, keeping up with the changes of the local laws, the state laws, the federal laws, the multiple listing service ordinances, your city ordinances, the homeowner association ordinances.
Everything changes.
Everything. I think the public grossly underestimates our expenses to be an agent. When they see those big checks, they don't know that, oh gosh, in California we have huge insurance companies, and if anybody's paying attention, all the insurances are leaving California right now. So the
taxes too that we have to set aside because we're 1099.
Yes, you're an independent contractor, so you're not a W-2 employee, so therefore you will be having to pay your own taxes. But if you don't know how to manage your money and be profitable, you will not succeed, and they will fire themselves because they don't know what they're doing and they haven't listened to their agents.
Yeah, there's a specific saying that says, like, if you can't manage $1,000, you won't be able to manage $10,000, $100,000, $1 million. So it's always just balancing and starting off correctly, and also that mentorship of someone who can advise you. Because when I started in the business, no one really straight up told me, hey, put a certain amount for your taxes. I learned it, of course, through school, through my mentors. But kind of backtracking, for the individual that's watching, that is looking to start their career, whether after college, having that first mentorship in place, or finding someone that's very, very strong in the industry you're seeking is very important to your growth, because instead of going through the experiences yourself, learning from someone who's gone through it, I think it's huge.
Well, in the real estate aspect of trying to get a mentor, the worst question you can ask me when you walk in for a job interview, by the way, you are job interviewing, I have to decide if I want you to be on my roster. They all think they're interviewing brokers, but it goes both ways. The worst question you can ask me is when you walk into my office, say, what's my commission split? It's not about what you're going to get. It's about the offerings, how I can help you make money. And when they start just focusing in on solely the commission, although it's important to discuss and it does need to come up in conversation, but let's look at the whole picture of the business model and what are your expectations? Are you going to be one of those people that works another job and just wants to do one here or there? Okay, that's different. You're not a participating agent. And I'm going to need to hold your hand through the whole transaction because you don't know what you're doing. And then you got other people, as yourself. You said 4 years you've been in the business. How long have you been here?
Almost 2 years.
2 years now. So you've been here 2 years, and you took off immediately, if not tripled your business, because you had access. And would you have training every Fridays and Thursdays? So you're participating just as if you were a college student. You got to go to work. You got to participate. I have a lady in my office. I won't say her name. She has a great body. Oh my gosh, she's great. She's at the gym all the time because she's into health and nutrition, and she's got food lines. And she goes, God, I'm really trying hard, Terri, in real estate. And I go, well, look at your body. You go to the gym every day, right? She goes, yep. And I said, you work out it every single day? And she goes, yep. And I go, what are you doing for real estate? And she went really quiet. She got the analogy. She realized that to get to where I want to go in real estate, you have to work at it every day. I have to do a little bit every single day, build on my knowledge, take on a project, whether today's my listing presentation, tomorrow I'm going to learn to do this, tomorrow I'm going to get my checking list off for escrow in order, tomorrow I'm going to update my resume, I'm going to get my social media in gear and get a schedule going. But if you don't run it like a business all the way down to the profitability about the 1099 and your taxes, you're going to fire yourself because you're your own business owner. So if you want to have an entrepreneur spirit and an entrepreneur taste of things, you got to start acting like one. Don't come at the end of the day saying, oh, I need leads, I need this. No. You need to go find your leads, but I'll show you how. And so, I agree. I think in this business specifically, having the entrepreneurial spirit is going to get you way further than just wanting to become an employee. Because a lot of people are used to, and I think it goes back to our school system. You have an assignment due Friday, you need to do that assignment by Friday.
It's us always working with a due date and time and a task that need to be done. Now, employees are the same thing. You have quotas that you have to meet. You have a certain amount of, you're making this much money, you get paid, here's your task, you need to complete those tasks. Being on the real estate side and a 1099 worker, essentially independent contractor, everything is on your time. And I know you always mention to us in training, having that schedule and time management in place is going to get you much further.
Your schedule is your roadmap to get to where you want to go. It doesn't do any good to have a business plan to say, I want to make $150,000 a year, but your daily schedule says, I'm going to the beach, and I'm going on vacation, and I'm going to Disneyland. They just don't match.
Yeah.
They have to match. The entrepreneur spirit is very, very difficult to achieve, because one of the things when you work for yourself, there's a big word, and it's called accountability. There's no one keeping you accountable.
Yeah.
If I work at Jack in the Box, I know I have to clock in, show up, and I know what I'm going to get at the end of the day.
Exactly.
But when you're when you're let's call it an independent contractor, whether you're a loan officer or whether you're a real estate agent, and you don't have anybody holding you accountable, you tend to not show up. Because what I have found in my career, I find distractions and excuses very, very popular. You don't understand, Terry. Yes, I understand. I've been divorced.
You've been through it all.
I've been divorced. I've raised children on my own. They say, but I didn't have childcare. I had 3 childcare. I brought them to the open houses. It doesn't matter. I was telling somebody today before my starting off was I sat in a chair brand new one day too, and I was with another brokerage, and I liked them a lot.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm not with them anymore is they sold out and went to another company. So at that time, I flew to Arizona and looked into franchises and opened up the franchise market. There were no Realty Executives in California at that time. And then I opened up my other office across the street. I think it was in 1994, right when the shopping mall opened up, probably before you guys were born. But
you're still young, Terri.
I know. But the point is I was an agent, not a broker, not a leader, anything. Just doing what you're
hustling.
doing.
Yeah.
But I learned the time management and the basics of checklists, organization, and raising the 3 children, because kids get you really organized quick. You don't have an excuse not to pick them up, to drop them off at school, whatever they're involved in. So every minute counts. And at that time in the business, I was one of the first agents to come up with the team concept. I had 6 buyers agents.
Wow.
And I was on 4 listing appointments a day. I was so sought after that I couldn't even work buyers. They did, because I was on the listing appointments.
Yeah.
And then you get back to the office and there's the offers. And by then we didn't have DocuSign and email. We just thought it was hitting the...
We're blessed now. Like
oh
the
my
fact
gosh.
that everything is just.
That's why another reason that I guess they said you don't understand. Terri. I go, yes, I do understand. You don't know what
you
it's.
worked 10,000
I
times
bet you
harder.
don't even know what an NCR paper is.
I don't. I know what DocuSign is.
Go back. NCR is those color coded. The pink is for you, the yellow is for me. And they used to pull them out. That's how we had our
that's what those
contract.
are called?
That's called NCR.
They do that with like checkbooks or a certain amount of like.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
But the point is we had NCR, and it was a big deal when the fax machine came out. I ran over there to see if it really came out on the paper, and it. Or the beep beep pager, you didn't get on your voice. You had to run to the phone, dial the number, and then you could hear the voice. So the world has changed dramatically.
Yeah.
Staying with it, or you get left behind.
I love
that. If you don't stay with it, with the contracts, the knowledge, you're going to get left behind. Yeah. And so when I have some of the people that have started in the industry with me, and I just kind of look at them, and like I have one agent, she wouldn't use the microwave because she didn't know how it worked.
That's crazy.
You know, if you don't understand and keep up with it, you really do get behind.
So and I have a question, Terri.
Sure.
Through all this time, like starting off as agent, hustling, growing to having your own team, becoming a broker, having your own mortgage company. I mean, there's a lot that you give us, like everything. Well, I just want to like
let's start off. What have a business model. The number one thing you have to do is you have to understand your recipe. Yeah. I understand the recipe of real estate. You've got to then look at your affiliates. Affiliates could be title companies, your loan companies. You can have escrow companies. Mm-hmm. You have all these other little, but in the states in the law of California, you cannot have ownerships and title companies without it being considered a RESPA violation of federal, which is known as kickbacks. Yeah. You can't have special interest in that. I know people try to always think they have a way around it, but you're going to get caught one way or another. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. So, but in the Department of Real Estate, it's called the DRE. You're allowed to have an in-house escrow company as long as we're.
Thank you. Perfect. Keep going.
I didn't know what that meant.
20-minute mark.
Wow. So
we've been talking for that long. I feel like it's only been 5 minutes. I'm enjoying this. I'm learning a lot too. Okay. I'm like sitting here as a seat to learn. Okay. So
The Department of Real Estate is allowable by a broker to own, and you have to be really careful how you own your mortgage company so that you're not in RESPA violation as well there too.
Yeah.
So I have a DRE and what's called an NMLS license. Do you remember the last crisis that we had with loans when everything?
Of course.
Well, back in those days, loan officers weren't really responsible for the loans that they were originating. So there was no personal liability.
You got a loan.
There was, yeah, but there was no personal liability.
Yeah.
So after we got out of that time, now all agents have to have their own personal NMLS license.
Yeah.
While a real estate agent has to renew their license every 4 years, they have to renew it every year.
Yeah.
They are also bound to write now in the application their names, where before it was really foggy about if you went to Bank of America, who was the loan officer that took this bogus application.
Oh.
It was Bank of America, but nobody always knew. Now they can pin it back to the agent if there's fraud or anything of that nature. But back down to what can a brokerage do? A brokerage in California, I'm not talking about anywhere else. Every state is different. But in some states, they can't even own escrow companies. In California, we can. So I do have an escrow company that runs independent of the real estate operation.
Yeah.
And we have the loan company independent. We have different locations. But all of that, more responsibility, higher insurances, more oversight, more bookkeeping, and you have to really do a good job because all of those have to bring in a profit, or it's no point in having a mortgage, a real estate, or the mortgage aspect of it.
And in terms of right now, you're very busy because you manage a lot. I want to ask you something more like personal. You have a lot of grandchildren, you have kids of yourself, you have us, so it's a lot on your plate. And my question to you is, how are you able to manage it very well and also be able to have your personal life balance amongst that? And how do you manage all that? Because I know for me, sometimes I also get caught up a lot in the real estate world in my business, where I can get stressed very easily. When there's more on your plate, more money, more problems. Mike always likes to say that too. How do you manage your time and also your personal life and keep yourself also sane in a business that could be so...
Well, good question. Some of those are non-negotiable.
Yeah.
So you do know that I have to be at training every Friday. It's non-negotiable. I'm here. I'm committed to you guys. There are certain things that are non-negotiable. I got to go feed my horses right when we're done. It's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
There are certain things that I do, and I'm very, very involved in the community as far as rescue with animals.
Yeah.
These are my passions along with real estate. But if you don't start learning how to delegate from day one, you're not giving yourself the gift of time. And when you delegate, you are multiplying yourself many times over to have other people with their experience and expertise to help you.
Yeah.
When do you delegate? As soon as possible. What do you delegate? As much as possible. Car washing, gardening, cleaning the house, everything you can as soon as possible. Janitors, everything from bookkeepers.
Yeah.
Does that excuse me from those responsibilities? Absolutely not. I have to have oversight and watch these things and be responsible. But when you have your systems and checklist in place, it becomes more manageable. And with experience and age that comes along with it, I've learned not to stress about those things because there's some things that you can control and there's some things you can't, and there's some things you don't care about. And you get to a point like, give it your best shot, because I'm not bulletproof, but I'm pretty darn close to it.
Yeah.
So, and I built that up in there where I have policies.
Yeah.
And if you follow them, you're going to be safe. But if you try to get around it, not turn in documents or something, I'm okay with saying you don't need to work here.
Yeah.
See, and as an agent, you can say, it's okay, I don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
Because your reputation is very important. And that one client that sucks all your time up, or one agent that stresses me out, takes away from the beauty of giving other people the time that they deserve and they need.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it to me.
Yeah.
So you get to a point where you're in a good position in your life, and now you're just rolling with it because all the systems are in place. And they just mold and they get tweaked as time goes on and as laws changed and as the market changes. So we'll do different things.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And for anyone that's watching too, I think you shared a lot of valuable information right there, because that's probably what a lot of realtors that are watching either, or anyone who's looking to get into business, I think that's one of the biggest challenge I feel like they're going to face is the more work you put into your business, the more time it sucks as well. And
but how much of it is smart work? Sometimes they're redundant. They're doing things they shouldn't be doing. They're overthinking. You know how I think about overthinkers. I don't like people need to get to 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 like that way, not 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. That drives me crazy. Get to the point. But experience helps you get there quicker. And when I get a call at 11 o'clock at night, like you said, and I'm picking up the phone or something, that agent is freaking out. They think it's on a scale of 1 to 10, a 10. And I listen to the scenario, and within 2 seconds, it's a -10. To me, it's a nothing burger. And
Yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
done, taken care of, go to bed, have a good night, we'll talk in the morning. You also know that I keep an egg timer on my desk.
Yeah. As soon as you walk in, tell me your problem.
You got 3 minutes to tell me your problem and your solution. You don't have an hour and a half and sit down there and have coffee and cross your legs and tell me how you woke up and what happened in your day. Because time is very limited, and you've got to train your clients aren't going to give you that much time. So I'm trying to get you to learn to process your thoughts, what's wrong, the solution. And usually I'm very proud of the agents. They come in and they have the right solution. They just want me to validate it.
Yeah.
And I like that because it means they're learning and
I do that too. Sometimes.
Yes. No, it's
I'm
fine.
thinking right.
I mean, sometimes you just need another professional opinion, and you're on track or am I off track?
Yeah.
And that's okay to do. We should all be doing that, no matter what business you're in. Doctors consult.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think about this? Yes, you go back and forth on it. But I do enjoy working with higher thinking. I don't like the pettiness that goes on in real estate. There can be a lot of jealousy, especially with the social media and all the stalking. Just always be neutral about whatever you do, whatever you say, and treat everybody with kind and fairness. And do not ever treat a client based on the commission you might get at the very end.
Don't get attached to the outcome.
Don't get attached to the outcome. Don't be desperate. Be very, very fair, and it's going to come back tenfold.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing too is being as successful as you are in this business, it takes a lot of quick decision making. I think that's something I'm working on right now, is being able to quickly gather my thoughts, make a decision, and apply it right away. Because you're right, time is money. Time is very important. Something that you can't get back.
Well, let me ask you this: when you ask me a question, what do I do? Do I snap at you? Do I give you thoughts? What do we do? How do you feel when I give you an answer?
You ask the proper questions so that you understand the scenario, and then you give me advice immediately about it.
Okay.
So,
and one of the things I ask you is who you're representing, right?
Yeah. First question.
Because if you're representing a seller,
Yeah.
I need to know from that perspective. If you're representing a buyer, I need it from that perspective. Then give me the problem, and then tell me in the contract where you're relying on that. Because there's no provision in the contract for emotions.
Yeah, none.
Only logistics.
Only logic.
So I don't care that they can't. I got to see what you agreed to in the contract. And then what do we do when we can't comply with the contract? We make an amendment.
We change the contract.
So you go ahead and amend it, and you move on. When you don't like what the other agent says, with or without their own client's permission, you don't jump up and down and write a nasty email.
Yeah.
You respond to it, because you always got to remember whatever you put in writing, whether it's text or email, always think of it if it has little words before it. Your honor, comma. It could go in front of a third-party arbitrator, and you stood there and said the F word, or you said all these other things that you'd be totally embarrassed about, that you should have never done. So don't ever talk condescending or about. Keep it to the matter of fact. And thank you very much for your time. And always close with
have the duty to your client.
Absolutely. If you have any, and then turn it over to your transaction coordinator. So that they can keep a listing file of all the communications that went down, so that something happens. And by the way, I'm responsible for those files for 3 years. So an agent can leave, they get out of the business, they could die, and if something comes about, I have to be able to pull that file up. Now in the old days, again, we had to have them all in boxes and garages, but in the last several years, DRE now accepts DocuSign and paperless. They always wanted the hard originals with blue ink, so they're the lenders. So now we can keep them for a long time, but law still says 3 years. So if I get a subpoena or something, if someone's getting a divorce and they got to find out what the
happened.
net sheet said, first of all, you don't handle the subpoena. You'd always give it to your broker, whatever broker you work with. Give it to the broker and let them handle it, and you step aside, because you're not an attorney, you're not a CPA, and you don't have that right to make the decisions.
Absolutely.
And the files belong to the agents, not the client. So we carry the insurance and the policy under our names. It's not under the agents.
This is all really good information for the people watching too.
Yes. It covers all of the agents, but it is our policy regardless of who's working for you. Those policies are designed on what production you do, how many double ends you have, do you have a transaction coordinator, do you have training meetings, do you have policies and procedure. The more you say yes, the lower we get our policies down. Do we have any litigation going on? No, knock on wood. But if you don't have litigation going on, arbitrations going on, things of that nature, you get lower premiums. And I do believe in the Board of Realtors.
One second. Do you guys see why I work at this brokerage? Do you see why I'm here? Because this is my mentor. This is the person who literally runs this whole thing. And I'm just, I just needed to mention that. Like,
Aw.
I love this.
So on the Board of Realtors, I'm a trained arbitrator too. So when you...
Another thing on the list.
So the only thing I was telling the girls today, what I don't have no desire to do is jump on an airplane or go scuba diving because I lose control on both. But everything else.
We're control freaks.
I know. I don't like to give the chances. I don't like casinos and horse races.
Can I say something? She went on a trip and she said she had to update her trust and wills.
Well, you never know what could happen.
I love that.
When I went to Dubai, I started thinking, I gotta update. What if something happens?
Anything, yeah.
What if I marry a king over there or something? You never know. Whatever happens, to become a wife or wives.
Am I invited?
Oh yeah, come on over. Go have fun. But anyways, the point is always, that's another thing, keeping your business in check. Can you imagine the mess that I would leave for my children to handle if I didn't have my affairs in order?
Absolutely.
My daughter and my children, we don't fly together because if something happens, this company, if I die tomorrow, it can still function. Everything's in order with double signatures, everybody's on everything. And these are things about operational. Inspirational people do this with their businesses. It's not, I am not conceited where it all relies on me. Yeah. Although I'm responsible, the responsible party, it does take a team. We do delegate. We have professionals around us, from attorneys to bookkeepers to CPAs that are all professionally advising us to stock people, to do everything that we need to be doing. And that's where you want to be. I will always share my information. The problem is if you can share your information with 20 people, maybe one person does it. They listen, they're intrigued.
Yeah. They don't
But very few people act and take it. I'll say, do this, and they walk out. And they don't do it, and they come back the next week. Did you do your listing presentation? Did you practice your handling objections? And the answer will be no. And that's why I throw things out at them.
Yeah.
You know, something really.
Test it.
Yeah, something really funny happened. I've got an agent in my office, nice guy. He's always asking me questions.
Yeah.
And they're good questions. Terri, what about this? Terri, what about that? Terri, what about that? So here I just got back from Houston, right? I'm jumping on the airplane and I'm walking down the aisle with my luggage, getting on my airplane, and all of a sudden I hear this voice, Terri, what about this? And I turn around, there he was with his wife. He was on the airplane. Yes. I can't get away from him.
Funny.
Can't get away from him. He was going to Florida. I was going to Houston. Like, oh my, I wound up sitting with him.
What a coincidence.
I know. It was funny. But the point is, it doesn't matter. I can be at the grocery cart and the courtesy clerk wants information. I'll be at the dentist with tools in my mouth. They want information.
Yeah.
You know, there's always there, and if you wear your name tag. But in any job, an entrepreneur, when you are a high profile type of a person, people want to pick your brain, what you're doing, what makes you different. And it's going to come down to discipline, your time management, your attitude, your mindset controls everything. Walk the what do they say? Walk the walk and talk the talk. You know, you have to really do these things. And I've outlived everybody in San Diego, just about. Everybody's crushed, bought out, whatever. I'm the last woman standing. And we are the largest organization with a woman owner. By the way, I don't have a partner in this business, a private partner, a silent partner, a husband partner, any kind of a partner of any kind. And you said something earlier, it triggered me. I just don't like partnerships. I just always think eventually you get into a bad situation, you have different views, and then they become disputes. So it's been very very freeing to be able to. What would you guys one day at Train said we want studios, and we made a studio. We don't have to go to a board and meet it.
Literally, I made that decision.
We had it within a week or two or three or something. We were ordering stuff the next day. So I listen to what you say. I go with the times. They tell Apple TVs and everything, but you go with the flow, and I like to be able to have the freedom to do it. I don't want to say, oh, let me check my budget and let me check with my partners. Even at a level of being an agent, teams are hard. They're very hard because they have one way of thinking, someone else has another way of thinking. But if you can both benefit on every deal, eventually nothing is forever. Eventually there's a never level for each one of them. And it's not a bad thing to shake hands and say, I'm going this way and I'm going that way. There should be no harm on that. And in team concepts, when you have team agreements and there's money involved, there can be disputes, and I don't like the disputes. I'm way past that. I just think we all need to do what we need to do, and I just turn the other cheek because I'm not interested in getting involved in these kind of scandals.
And I think too, in the real estate business, a lot of people see what's being posted. They see how glamorous it is, how fun it is, and I think we play a part in making it look like that because we are selling a lifestyle essentially in real estate. But I feel like people get the wrong expectation of what the business is. I mean, you watch Selling Sunset, you see how amazing, they're driving Ferraris, they're looking at $60 million homes, but people forget that when you're joining this business. The reality
is all those things are all scripted, okay? Just it's for a reason.
But even on social media, I mean.
The social media, I'm a big believer in always sourcing out your information. If you don't source out where you got it, it's made up in your head. I see stats that are put on there with some guy who just says something, and I know it's not true. But newer agents or the public do not know that, and you're absolutely right. It has become a problem, and I know they have these fact finders and stuff, but on TikTok it just gets out of control. But I wish real estate agents would try to be less movie stars and more real estate agents, and I think they would do better than trying to impress everybody. Yeah. You have this guy saying, "Hey, I'm a top producer," and somebody put a comment, "Yeah, he's on his third brokerage in his first year of real estate." He's not a top producer, and you know,
just the very
it's perception.
Yeah,
I'm not blaming him for advertising, and I know it's a big push to advertise yourself and market yourself, no matter what field you're in.
Yeah,
but be truthful about it and don't lose the focus of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm a client and I'm interviewing you, I just want to make sure you're going to take care of me and get the job done. I don't care how many posts you do. I don't care what, all that kind of stuff. I just want to know that you have a good standing reputation, that people like you and you can work with people. Yeah. And that's what it comes down to, is the integrity.
Yeah, I think social media it's a great way to brand yourself, but it's just branding yourself. It's not you actually being able to perform the work, stick to your word, and most importantly, do everything in the benefit of your client and achieving their goals. Mm-hmm. I love that you mentioned that you're one of the few women in this industry that run their own brokerages. And I feel like my next question for you is, how, throughout your years in real estate, what were the challenges you faced as a woman in real estate?
Well, it's interesting you ask that. I would go into a room, which is predominantly a men's industry in real estate.
Most sales are. And
I would go into a room, and it'd be a big room, big tables and stuff. And I'd go in with myself or maybe one of my assistants in there. And I would sit and they start going around. They do a little inventory, and they go, "How many agents do you have?" And he goes, "Oh, I have 60, I have 50. And then all of a sudden they come around and they go, "How many do you have?" And I go, "About 250 agents." And it was all instant quiet.
Shock. Yeah.
Instant quiet. And then they would go on, "What kind of profit centers do you have?" "I have the mortgage and real estate." Now remember, these are people from different states, and they all can't do what I do. Yeah. But boy, on the breaks, oh my God, I got flocked. "How did you do that? And what systems do you have? And how does this work?" Because there's an intriguing, and I never did that, what they're doing, but they underestimate. Yeah. And it makes me proud, because we did this. I did not buy this business. I built it from ground up. I did not do this with a partner. This started with me. I didn't have any people. Did I miss a lot of parties? Sure. Did I miss a lot of events? Yes, I was working. Yeah. Put your family first. Keep that balance in there. Keep your health. Keep your mindset. But I do enjoy what I'm doing, and I can benefit that and be at this stage in my life and be able to enjoy it. Yeah. And as long as I keep to my non-negotiable things on my schedule, that's important to me, because it bothers me if I can't make them. Yeah. I mean, I've been teaching you for a long time. Have I ever called in sick really on a Friday? No. It's really hard for me to do. Yeah. If I do, there's a problem.
There's a problem, yeah.
Or I let you know ahead of time, and I think when I went to Dubai and maybe Houston or something, I'll let you guys know. But that's very important, because I don't want to let down any of the new agents. I want to keep their momentum going and on their plan, and they got to give me that commitment back too. Yeah,
and I think part of it too in real estate, and what I've experienced, is we are surrounded with a lot of egos too. Every real estate agent.
Ego's a big problem in our industry.
Very, very big problem, and I think it.
Don't you know who I am?
Yeah, I've been in the business for 45 years.
I'm a broker for 40 years, and I'm going, oh.
I've come across this issue multiple times. Well, the fact that you're in the issue shows that you have no experience.
Right. And they're using their NCR forms.
Pulling up with a
magnet. But ego's a very big problem in our industry, and because of that pressure that you're only successful if you're driving that Ferrari, or if you're driving your, those suits and kind of stuff. And you guys know how I am. I mean, I might walk in with a herd of dogs from my shelter, and they're coming here. It's almost everyone in my office has adopted a dog through me. But the point is, I don't even phase at that kind of stuff anymore.
Become numb to it.
Be real. Just go off and do what you have to do, because that's what, at the end of the day, that's what your client wants. And what price ranges do we work? All kinds.
All.
From mobile homes to
luxury isn't a price point to us. It's a service.
Yeah, I think we just put a thing in escrow today for $5 million, double-ended, by 2 agents. Love that. This is all ranges. So we're working all types of sophistications. Your job as an agent, my job as a broker, is to be able to relate to all of them. Yeah. They're all at different levels, whether they're first-time buyers, military buyers, FHA, conventional, 1031 exchanges.
And we service all of California, and we have our other brokerages that are in multiple other states and worldwide.
We're international. We're an international franchise, so we're worldwide, and our license is state of California. So we can do anything in California. Yeah. But if you have a client who wants to move out of California, we can locate them another agent in another state and still get a referral fee if your brother or sister is locating somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, wrap
perfect.
it up.
I guess, we hit the 40-minute mark. So
Oh.
I think we're going to probably need a part 2 because I still have a lot of more questions.
Okay.
And I'm sure a lot of the viewers, after posting the first one, they're going to have their own questions. So if they do, you're going to...
And for the record, I wasn't prepared for any of this today. I was just hit up for this about 2 hours ago.
But you look beautiful. It was her birthday, literally like last week.
Yes.
So you're glowing. I love you so much.
Aw, thank you.
You for being one of the most inspirational and powerful women in my life.
And you know that I'm always there for everybody. And then there's,
Always,
of course,
yeah.
I'd like to say nobody's special, but there are specials. I mean, not special in a bad way, specials in a good way.
Am I special?
You're special, yeah.
Thank you.
What makes people special to me is that they take the advice I render and they do something with it, and then they succeed and they get to the next level. When they don't take it, then they wonder why. That
what
bothers
I love
me.
too, I know we're probably going, but last comment. What I love about Terri is a lot of people in the industry don't like to see you grow. They give you this perception of I want you to grow, but they define you in a box of how much you should actually grow.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean? Other brokers?
Other brokers,
Oh, okay.
Sometimes, previous you could be in teams. I've seen people, certain experiences. So I feel like what I love about you and what I think I've been able to really take away is your knowledge isn't something you protect to yourself. It's something that you let flourish to your agents, and you also want to see them grow. You always do what's best for them. I mean, I came across an issue with you yesterday. I gave you a call. I said, Terri, I'm not sure what to do. And you gave me the advice, and the way you structured that is in a way that you said, you know what, I want you to make the best decision for you. Mm-hmm. What's the most beneficial thing for you? And I think that sits with me in terms of also my clients. Everything I do isn't about me. It's about what's best for my client, what's best for the person I'm working with. And I think you're able to become this successful because you like to see others around you grow. It's not just about you. It's about everything you've done, and you constantly want them to grow and continue, do more deals, help more clients, help more people.
And I don't understand why more people aren't that way to begin with. I don't understand the meanness. I don't understand those egos. I don't understand the jealousy. Yeah. I know that it's out there, but I don't understand the purpose of it other than lots of insecurity people.
Yeah.
And those are the people I don't associate with, because I'm not going to get in that kind of a contest with them. I want to do good and feel good about what I do. So when I walk in, people know who I am. When I went and read books today, I had all these people going, "Oh, you're Terri Dillon," coming over, shaking hands. "Oh my God, my dad used to work with you in Coronado over there, and he came in." And honestly, I didn't know who he was, but I said hi, and he knew who I was. And it was. He says, "I ran into you," and you're thinking 15 years ago. Oh my gosh! He goes, "But I used to have hair, and I don't have hair anymore." but it's a great feeling. But he could have also said, "You're that witch that did all those mean things," but it's never going to be that way.
Keeping your reputation.
It's never going to be that way.
Yeah, and kind of to wrap this up, thank you for being on here.
You're welcome.
Taking the time.
It's a pleasure.
We're probably going to have a part 2 with more questions. She loves it. We'll just have more champagne.
It took me a lot to get on here.
No, you did great, and this was my first ever podcast, so I want to thank you for being my first guest. I know, I was kind of nervous. I was sweating over here. I don't know, I feel like sometimes when the camera just gets placed, it's kind of like someone's watching you. But it's like a normal conversation.
He's watching us.
You're watching us?
Yeah, he's watching us. He's got that timer going.
But thank you guys for watching. I'm going to be having more episodes coming soon with a lot of powerful and influential women in multiple industries, anywhere from doctors, lawyers, engineers, entrepreneurs, artists, scientists, anything you can think about. My goal is to bring them over here, sit on this chair, and provide you guys with information to help make best decisions for you and help to watch you grow. And then you can start investing in real estate, and we'll be here to help you.
Yes.
Cheers to that.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for having me, Miriam.
Okay. And we'll see you soon on the next podcast, Empower Her Network.